Many students seem to be a little confused on how to form possessives, so we're going to look at a few of the rules for possessives. First, let me just say, when making a noun plural, you never use an apostrophe. Never use an apostrophe to make something plural. Apostrophes are used to show possession, and a possessive form indicates that a noun owns something. And the placement of that apostrophe is going to be different for singular versus plural nouns. Let's take a look at how this works. First, for the singulars. Possessive form of a singular noun is an apostrophe S. Simple. Judy's eyelashes, the teacher's patience, the truck's motor. Notice it's a singular noun, Judy, apostrophe S. Single noun, teacher, apostrophe S. Single noun, truck, apostrophe S. Couldn't be any simpler. Apostrophe S for singular possessive. What if that noun ends in an S or a Z or an X? Don't worry about it. Go ahead and add the apostrophe S. Different style sheets say different things, but adding an apostrophe S will still work. So we can say Dr. Seuss's books, Xerox's copies, Mr. Lopez's idea. It all works. Let's go on to the plurals then. To do a plural possessive correctly, you must know the proper plural form. Most plurals end in S, so just add an apostrophe. So, my son's favorite uncle. I've got 3 sons. They all have the same favorite uncle. I'm talking about all 3 of them. The singers' voices. The entire choir. Not one singer, but everybody in the choir. Also notice here, the word sons, there's no apostrophe. The plural of son is S-O-N-S with no apostrophe. Please remember that. Irregular nouns. These are the ones that don't add an S for the plural. So for example, the plural of child is children. So what do? We just treat it like a singular possessive. Children's pet. Mice's cage for mouse's cage. Look at people's choices and person's choices. This one's a little more interesting. Person is a singular, but we have a whole bunch of choices. Doesn't make any difference how many choices. 1 choice or 500. It'd still be person's choice or people's choice. Let me go a little more detail on this particular point. Right here we have one person, say it's a man or a boy, and 1 dot. Singular possessive. The man's dot, the boy's dot. Apostrophe S, no problem. Over here, if we add more dots, we still have 1 man or 1 boy, so it's still going to be the man's dots, the boy's dots. Singular possessive. It doesn't matter how many dots. It doesn't matter how much they own or what they own. What we care about is the noun. Is it singular or is it plural? Down here, we now have 3 men and 1 dot. We take the word man, convert it to its plural, which is men, and then we treat it like a singular possessive because it doesn't end in an S. So it becomes the men's dot. They own that dot together. All 3 men own that dot. Or if it's the boys owning the dot, you notice it's B-O-Y-S, the plural form of boy, and then we just add an apostrophe after the S. It doesn't matter over here if the 3 men or boys own 2 dots. It's the same rule. The men's, apostrophe S dots, or the boys, which is a plural, so the apostrophe goes after the S. Sometimes we also have difficulty with compound nouns. They're a little confusing. We have Paul and Sue's new house. Notice we just have an apostrophe S after Sue, but not after Paul. Same thing is true with Fred and Ethel's ideas. Apostrophe S after Ethel, but not after Fred. Why? That's because they own these things together. Paul and Sue got that house together, so there's only 1 house, so there's only 1 possession. And it's Paul and Sue owning it together, so we just say Paul and Sue's. We'll put the apostrophe S on the last noun of the series. In this case, there's only 2 in the series, so it's just Paul and Sue. Same thing is true with Fred and Ethel. However, when we go to Bob and Joe's grade point average, something else enters into the picture. Bob has a grade point average, and so does Joe. They don't own them together. So we have to say Bob's grade point average and Joe's grade point average. Or we want to make the sentence a little bit more compact. We just say Bob's and Joe's grade point average. They have different grade point averages, don't own them together, therefore it's going to be apostrophe S for both of them. I hope that clears up some of our confusion.